Yeah. All right.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome back to Unchained the podcast. And we can see it's a little different here. We're not on the couch. We're actually, shout out to Kingdom Life Church. I'll give the introduction a little early. We got it right here in our face. Pastor Justin Valentine. I'm let him speak in a second, but he invited us here to invited Unchained the podcast here for an interview, you know, and thank you for having us, Pastor.
No doubt.
Appreciate you very much.
No doubt.
As we all know right now, recently Pastor Justin Valentine has been caught in a battle of trying to bring about a charter school in by way of his church, right? And so that's what we're basically here to talk about tonight. Obviously talk about Pastor Justin Valentine's work in the community, the things he's been doing for years that I know of. With that being said, just a quick introduction.
Yeah. Hey, I'm glad. When we reached out, I talked and said, "Hey, man, let's do it." Glad we were able to set up a time to, come up to the church here and see the facility as one thing, see what we're doing, and really appreciate the dialogue. And hopefully, through our conversation, is something that's fruitful for the community to hear. And yeah, man, I look forward to talking.
Yeah.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, no, before we get into these questions, man, I just, I pay attention. You guys, you guys all know me, especially the local guys, you know what I mean? Shout out to everybody because I believe we're live streaming from Pastor Justin Valentine's platform. So, I thank you guys for having me. But I pay attention to what's going on, obviously, by our way of communications, 2026, social media, it is what it is. And I've seen the, not even detailed, but the back and forth, with the with your fight,
Yeah.
right, with the charter school. And it compelled me, especially having this platform of this podcast, and I do things in the community. And I just want the community to be informed about this, especially far as I'm concerned, man. You're not only what you do in the ministry as far as God's work, man, you know what I mean? You're a top laborer in my book. So, just to bring these things about, and especially something as significant as a school.
Yeah.
It's just, something to be, I felt that Unchained needed to provide this platform. And again, I thank you for taking this interview.
Yeah.
So we could get into this and so the
Appreciate it.
community
Thank you.
can know.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, let's get into it, man. We're gonna let's start with the first question. So first question is, you recently fought hard for a charter school approval in Pottstown, but ultimately decided to step back. When you look back at that journey, what do you feel the community misunderstood about your vision, and what did the process teach you about local power structures?
So, first, I want to say, I think maybe sometimes it may be unclear sometimes what the motivation is. Like, I'm a pastor. I've been a pastor. I'm going to continue to be a pastor. What are we doing out here in education? And I just believe that it's a part of our mission, not just as a church, but a part of our mission to educate. That education is a huge factor in the life of transforming a community, transforming young people's lives. And we have a private school. But when I look at and survey what's
Kingdom Life does.
correct, we have a Kingdom Life Christian Academy
Okay.
is a part of our local church. That's an extension of it. What we were looking to do was a charter school, which would be public, separate entity than the church and from the academy. Completely separate, of course, public funds at that point.
Mhm.
And why is because when I look at who I'm trying to help, a lot of times there's an economic barrier that, let's just be honest, who can afford to send their kids to public school? I mean, private school. Because if they could,
They would.
they would.
Yeah.
Then when I look at even at our tuition rate and the kids that I'm trying to help, can they afford it? And then let's say they could afford it. And then there's families like my family that have children that have disabilities, that have IEPs. Well, the cost of being able to do that would become astronomical as a private institution.
Mm.
But we believe that we're positioned uniquely in the community to help. And in that regard, I said, well, let's do this. For the sake of it, let's pull the church stuff out of it.
Wow.
Let's pull like the preaching out of it to help a kid. What good is the religion or any religion if you can't read? What good is my Bible? I hand it to somebody and they say, hey, read this. It's good. It's good news. Can't read.
Wow.
So I believe that education is such a huge dynamic, a huge topic that, hey, listen, I can take a step back and not be preachy, not be a Christian. I could never not be a Christian, but I don't have to preach at you to demonstrate principles and leadership principles of Christ. So I think that's our motivation is to help. And sorry, it's a motion sensitive light. But this light will help us.
Stay with us, y'all.
Yeah. That's our motivation to get into this, which is why would we want to fight in this regard? Well, that's because we believe that this is a topic that's not going to go away. And how can we say we'll stay true to our mission when we realize and see this huge deficit and gaps in education in our community, and we can do something about it, and we don't.
Yes, sir.
I can't sit on the sidelines and let that happen. I can't. I can't sleep at night and say I could do something, but we'll just let them have at it.
Honorable.
Yeah.
On another level, honorable. And what's so crazy, if you don't mind, I want to say that's honorable because I did not know. Again, I didn't know the details of of the whole thing. You know what I mean? And I caught what I caught. But I think it's honorable of you to actually, because you don't really see that a lot. And what I mean is stepping away from the church, but not really stepping away, because again, you are who you are.
Yeah.
Right? You are who you are. You're not leading with the church.
Right. Right.
No, I think that's phenomenal. And the reason why I think it's phenomenal is because I can only imagine what you were about to reach.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you were already a staple in the community when you were on Franklin. So you already who you were.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal work. But to, you know what I mean? So no, I mean, this is a salute.
I appreciate that. And I think the goal though, like for us, and again, we were, of course, we put an application to only be K through 3. So kindergarten, 1st through 3rd grade.
Right.
Because that's when we know that kids are in their formidable years. But also here, we have a child care center.
Right.
So, I always tell people it's not just a daycare. This is about education. Our teachers use a curriculum. Our teachers are, every day they're in here with these children. We deal with a lot of kids too that have a lot of behavioral issues, autism spectrum, somewhere on the spectrum, or those type of things. And that's one of my motivations as well is, hey, we work with these families every single day. We work with these kids every single day. And then when they turn 6 and got to go to kindergarten, I got to send them back over here.
Wow. You're killing me.
Yeah.
You're killing me. Yeah, no, I get it.
And I just like, man, if I can fight for these babies to at least stay in a environment that I know is wholesome, that people care, that people love these kids. And I'm not saying that they don't. I hate that it becomes a us versus them.
Yeah.
Because it's not a us versus them, but it's like, yo, real rap. We know what we do here. We know how we care. We know how we work with these kids. We know that we can provide an environment that is conducive to their learning and their growing and helping family, even just helping families like my family. I can't stress that enough. I've been in the seat with some of these parents are and understand what it's like. Hey, somebody says, hey, your child has autism. Well, man, sitting in that seat and in that room, it feels like a death sentence, man.
Yeah.
But it's not. And sometimes you need just somebody like me, like my wife, on the other side of that table or on the same side of the table as you saying, hey, this is not a death sentence, but we're going to do everything we can to make sure that kid gets all the help they can get. Not when 3rd or not in 4th grade or 6th grade. No, if they need help now, we're going to make sure they get help now. We're not going to worry about or nickel and dime and say, oh, well, we'll put off the help or we'll do this. No, whatever they need, we're going to do it. And that's why I said, even if I stayed private, how could I charge a family on Beach Street or like my family on Butler Avenue we couldn't afford to send me to a school if I needed that type of care. But there is a system, and I think Russell, when you ask me what's something that I think I want the community to understand, you as a parent have a right to these funds.
Come on.
The state, the federal government gives money to the district for your child to go to school. If you decide to take your child and send them someplace else as a charter, if you send them to a charter, that money follows the child. That's your child's money for their education. It's not theirs as a slush fund to say, we need all the money we can get because who knows what we're going to do with it. And we'll talk about this in a little bit if we have time.
We got
Like, what we just saw last week was egregious. Teacher after teacher came up to this podium and said, we can't have a charter school. They're going to take money from us.
That's why. That's wild conversation. That's wild. That's wild talk.
Yeah.
And we're talking about children here?
Yeah. Yeah. But when you say they're going to take money from us, well, that is true. The money does follow the kid. So I'm not going to sit here and say there's not an economic impact.
Yeah.
But technically, if the child's not here,
why do you need the money?
You don't need the funds. But what they're saying is our overhead doesn't change. We still got to pay for buildings. We still got to pay for this. We still got to pay for that. But what I see is I don't want to say that somebody's doing something illegal.
Yes, sir.
But I do want to talk about misplaced priorities.
Come on.
And when I see we don't have enough money for a charter school, but the very next week come back and we vote for a 16% raise for the superintendent in 1 year. So think about this. What job do you have that I may have that you'll get a 16% raise and guaranteed, listen to me, guaranteed raises for the next 5 years, regardless of performance?
Hold on. What do you mean? Like that's in black and white?
It's black and white. It's scheduled raises. So for the last 5 years, the board, and I'm not, listen, and see, that's the biggest thing. And I hate that it becomes down to this.
Yeah.
I'm not your enemy,
right.
But as a community, we got to wake up.
That's I would second that.
Yeah, we got to wake up. You got to wake up to what's happening around you. And I know I'm a pastor, and somebody's going to say he needs to stay in his lane. This is my lane. This is a problem. Somebody has to stand up. This is the civil rights movement of our generation, is what we're going to do with education.
Yes, sir.
And then when you talk about fair funding, that's another thing people keep saying to me. Why don't you go fight for fair funding? Well, why am I going to go out here and fight for y'all to get more money to give to yourselves? It just doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. And when you say it's misplaced priorities, the increase, first of all, and again, no disrespect, but it is what it is. We have to deal in truth and we have to deal in facts.
Yes, sir.
I watched this board approve this raise with not even all 9 people present. So we only had 7 board members present. They vote on it. Well, my first thing comes to mind is, well, how do you know you have enough votes?
There we go. That's a very good question.
How do you even know? How do you know that it's not going to be 5-2 or 3-4? How do you know that? Well, that alludes to some impropriety, so I'm not going to go too far down it. And because I'm not here for that. I'm not here to tell you that you don't, like, whatever. But I am saying, something's wrong, and we can't keep working in this construct that is broken. Right. The only thing we can do is create another system.
Right.
And that's what I'm trying to establish. Something else has to be done here because this is not working. This is not it. And what a smack in the face to this community that is last year had to raise taxes 5.8%, 5.2%.
That's what the taxes raised last year.
Last year.
Okay.
This year, you want to hear something crazy? The lady had just gave a presentation about how with a 5.5% increase and taking money out of the general or the surplus fund and moving money over here, we're still about $2 million short.
Oh, Deb Spence put that up. Yeah.
Yeah. We're still short $2 million. How are you giving somebody a raise when you just told everybody you don't have any money? There's no money. What are you talking about? How are you giving somebody a raise? Oh, I get it. We're going to go back and ask these people for more money. I feel as though, my personal opinion, I feel as though that's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I understand in keeping talent and all that stuff and recruiting and people having to be, I understand that. But when we get into this and we get into these numbers,
Yes, sir.
man, I'm not gonna be the person out here saying somebody should advocate for somebody losing their job or this not. I'm not that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But reality is reality. The numbers don't match. We have one of the highest paid administrators in the state in one of the poorest communities in the state.
This is a problem.
Something's wrong.
This is a problem.
Something's wrong.
This is a problem, and I do understand you, Pastor. I understand you 100% as far as like not wanting to be divisive and things of that nature. That's actually a big part of a lot of resistance that I deal with. You know what I mean? Because I kind of really don't mind being divisive on issues like this.
Got it.
Right? Because the reality is this, like, I don't think we would have anything to say if you couldn't go, like you said, go into those numbers and see, oh, we're in the deficit, we're behind 2 million. How are raises at? Like, you're not picking on nobody doing that. I'm not picking on, I'm just looking at something and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not sure I understand why it doesn't make any sense. Right. So no, I don't. Yeah.
So Russell, I think one of the things that I was talking about was that, there's a lot of intellectual dishonesty going on up here at this table. I'll give you another example. Everybody's saying we don't have any money. Well, that's not necessarily true. In November, the Pennsylvania state legislature actually passed a law that, now mind you, last year, the reason they said, this is why they said, and this is my ploy and why I'm saying any of this, and I don't mind being the target if I can wake us up to get involved. Wake up, get involved. Let me tell you, our school projection that we came up with, we were thinking we were probably in the $1.2 million range, maybe 1.4. Now, I had one conversation with them, and I had to go back and retool some things in our projections. It may have came to about 1.7, 1.8. I mean, just being honest. It costs what it costs, right? So that is true.
That's the budget you needed for the charter.
Correct. So I was dealing from an information that we had, 60 to 70 regular ed students. I didn't take into an account in my projection if we had tuition for students that were special education based off what those numbers are. And you can see them published online. So I went back and I redid some things and I said, okay, well, if we assumed, because as a charter, you can't turn people away. That was another thing that people said. Another accusation. He's going to take all of our best students. No, we're going to take the students that apply.
Yeah.
And for a special education student, the tuition is higher. I didn't take that into an account. So if you went to the same and said, hey, you're at 20% or 15%, special education is going to bump your budget a little higher.
Okay.
I said that to say the claim is we don't have any money. Well, in November, they passed the law. Now, mind you, their budget was already done.
Right.
But one of the things that they kept saying was 320 students went to charter schools last year. That's what blew their budget up.
Okay.
320 students. Now, think about that. 10% of your student population is already saying, we don't want to go to this school. Okay. So they're going to cyber charters, they're going to Renaissance, they're going to other places. In that, a lot of them are picking cyber charters, which means there's no brick and mortar, there's no teacher in the classroom.
Basically all doing it off the
online. The state legislature said in November, we're going to change this law so that you're not getting top dollar because you're not busing kids. There's no brick and mortar stuff. There's no heat that you got to pay for. So they changed the formula so that cyber students, you can't bill the district back all of that money because there's some things that you don't have to pay for.
Exactly.
For Pottstown, they estimated, and this is in the last meeting that I listened to, they estimated that the amount of money that was going to come back to Pottstown from that is estimated at about 1.7 million.
Okay.
Okay. So if that's true, and that's on the low end, I think it could be a little higher depending on, but if that's true, the money that we are requesting in our school is already budgeted.
Got it.
It's already there. You already are spending that money. The issue is, like we said before, you think it's your money. So if you've already budgeted for it, but you don't want to spend it, it means to me, you're hoping that at the end of this, we have a surplus.
Yep.
So that we can rearrange that money. Unless people get smart and say, listen, that money belongs to my child where I want to send them.
That's it.
We got to wake up. Now, accountability. So here's the thing I asked. Let's say everything was perfect. Let's say you weren't underfunded.
Mm-hmm.
Numbers were great.
Mm-hmm.
We still, as a community, have a right, based off the Pennsylvania School Code, we have a right to say we want to open an alternative choice in our community for our students.
100%.
Even if everything's perfect, we still 100%. Have that right.
Yep.
But let's be honest, we know everything's not perfect.
Yeah.
So why not be open to the idea of help and the idea that maybe this money is already allocated?
I think not only that, but let's just push it, let's just push it here. Like this is the main objective from my perspective is the children.
Correct. Not the money.
It's absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. Like you're basing, because I remember I got into something, on this subject. And I said, listen, man, I said, people are out there literally, and they're looking at our children as dollar signs.
Correct.
This is how they're, you know what I mean? Like this is how they're being utilized.
Right. Right.
It's kind of like put butts in the seat.
Right. Yeah.
But the development and the development of the child is like kind of like,
right,
low on the totem pole.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, and again, it comes to, this is another thing that we talk about, right? These test scores.
Right.
So if you watch our last hearing that we had, you'll kind of hear some double talk. You'll hear the teachers in the comments saying that the test scores are irrelevant, that you can't know the whole story just by the test scores. Well, when people are looking for, if you listen to the public comment, we had a mom come up to the microphone and she said, I moved here. And she said, but when I looked, I said, hold on, I can't put my kids in the school. That's real. That's not me being mean. That's a real person talking in their real experience. Her kid, now she was able to put her kids into a private school because of that.
Yeah.
But that's a real story. Y'all don't care what she has to say?
Her motivation was, I cannot put them in I'm looking at this. Correct. I can't do that.
Right. 19 bottom portion of the state of when it comes to schools. Yeah. That's where Pottstown is. And at some point, somebody's got to wake up and say, I'm tired of this. Tired of being at the bottom. Tired of, people coming here and saying, well, our school's not good enough, or there's no option, so I can't move here. Well, people do this all the time. They'll say, hey, I'll do anything to cross that line to get to Pottsboro. I'll do anything to cross that line to get to O&J. It's not unrealistic. People do this every day. Why are we acting like this does not exist?
I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
It's hard to look at.
It's hard to look at. It's hard to know you can do something and run into these roadblocks when you're really, at the end of the day, we know there's an issue. There's help available, and very few organizations in town are probably situated like we are.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So you're right. I do have a church, and I have a lot of people that support what we do through here.
Yeah.
But don't insult me and say, oh, it's just about his church. Don't insult me. We can draw lines. Just like the public school draws lines today.
Yeah.
They do it. Why can't we? We can. My church, as a church, we use this every day as a facility for kids.
Mm-hmm.
Every single day. We use this as for church twice a week.
Right.
So what are we talking about? And then the whole plan was to use all this as classroom space and next door move the church next door and our church offices all the way over. So all of this would just be for education. That's the plan. So there is these firewalls in place to not mingle. There's also a penalty involved with commingling these funds that I'm not willing to pay.
Yeah, but yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right?
Said it gets legal.
It's
No,
illegal.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
and I don't want to. I'm not trying to pay that penalty.
There
So
we go.
you hire people. You put a business manager in place that makes sure, like for example, how we handle things on the business side of church. There's accountants, there's lawyers, there's all these people around to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do.
Everything.
It's not impossible.
And I want to tip my hat. I want to tip my hat to you before we get to the second question. I want to tip my hat to you because I made a post on you, and let me apologize in front of you. Like when I see a topic that just interests me and I feel it's important, I'll speak on it. You know what I mean? Like I had to put a post up, the other day. I said, listen, I'm not speaking on behalf of Kingdom Life Church, but I'm just telling you how I feel, right?
Got it.
So, but no, what I want to do, I want to definitely give you props, man, because just from what my eyes seen, I seen you go. You know how people, through the years, it's always been a stigma on the church, right?
Right.
Where's that money go?
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
I actually, with my eyes, seen you move from a smaller to a bigger church, and it's hats off to you for
I
that.
appreciate that.
You know what I mean? I mean that. Absolutely.
I gotta. I thank God, man, because what we were doing, and thank God for, Pastor Janie Brandt. That was, she allowed us to utilize that space. Otherwise, my church would have had nowhere to go.
Okay.
And
Franklin Street.
Franklin Street.
Okay,
right?
cool.
And so thank God she believed in us,
Mhm.
and her and other folks that support it,
Right.
that said, hey, I want to put this childcare facility in this building. And we grew there, and then
Right.
we just started to outgrow the place, and that's what produced where we are. And man, God has been good to us. I can't
Now
you know,
we've been doing the work, Pastor.
I appreciate
You've
it,
been doing
man.
the work, man. No, it's just a big salute to you, man. I mean that.
I appreciate it.
Okay. Second question. Okay.
Mhm.
It's gonna get a little, little personal, right?
Mhm.
So walking away from this battle, right? Or just I don't want to say walking away, right? That might be the wrong use of words.
Mhm.
But stepping back for a second, right? I know that can be emotionally and spiritually heavy,
Mhm.
right? How did you discern the moment to basically chill? Let me cool out.
Right.
And what role did faith have in you navigating that decision?
Yeah. So, man, that's a heavy question. So I want to say, I felt led to do what we were doing.
Mhm.
I'm proud of what we did.
Right.
We stirred a conversation. In that, um, definitely faith played a role, because man, if I didn't have God, man, my strength. If you go around, I think Scripture says it like this, like you can't be a people pleaser.
Right.
You got to live to please God.
Yeah.
And I don't particularly care to rub elbows with the top echelons of people, the hierarchy of Pottstown. I don't
Right.
or the region, or anybody, to be honest with
Got
you.
it. Yes, sir.
I feel like I'm trying to live my life as best I can, be pleasing to God and serve God's people. So that's where that comes from in my heart. And if I become a target in that, that's okay. It's okay. And I did become a target. And thank God not only for that, but thank God I have a good wife. My wife, with me, it can be it could be charter schools today, it could be something else tomorrow. And
Salute the first lady. Salute the first lady.
So she's always there, and she said that this is what we believe in.
Yeah.
This is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
And she was with me, and so I thank God for that.
Mhm.
When did I know it was time to exit though? Or so let me again. When I'm talking as well, I'm not only even just talking. I've been a school board member. I've been
Really?
So I was on the Pottsgrove School Board for a term. I did 4 years on the board
Okay.
and 2 years as the president of
Okay.
the board in Pottsgrove.
Okay.
Okay, so I sat in that seat. I know what it's like. It's a tough job, and one of the things that was said to me was that the board was to act like a juror, like a jury.
Mhm.
Like they're hearing the case, like it's the prosecution and defense, and this is the jury.
Right.
And I just totally disagree with that premise of how to go about it. You're not the jury, you're the judge.
You are the judge.
You're the final decision maker. Now, when did I know it was time to get out? I looked at a couple things. Number one, I looked at the table and I said, I don't think we got a single vote. I don't think we got a single vote. Let's just be honest. I don't think there's one person up here that is going to agree. So, but I knew that when I submitted the application.
Okay.
And I think there's a lot of to do about the application, not realizing that I submitted this application under the guise of everyone that I talked to and consulted with said, if there's an issue with the application, you would be aware of the issues with the application to address the issues before you get to the hearing.
Right.
Okay. I never heard a word from the district until, well, no, I did hear this. This is what I heard. We need to come toward a facility, which they told me that on at our meeting on December 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the communication. Then they sent me an email and said, we're going to schedule a third meeting because the board might have more questions. So I said, okay, this is great. We're getting to a place where we're going to talk.
Right.
I knew there was deficiencies in our application. I also know where I live. And if I hand you a whole playbook, all you're going to do is actually what you're going to do is what you did. You're going to try to gun me as much as you can before I even get to the runway. I know I can't do that here. I know many of you know the climate here that as soon as you put out an idea, a bigger entity takes your idea and all of a sudden they're getting grants and all types of stuff off your idea.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I know what I'm talking about. I've lived here a long time.
Yes,
And you can correct me if I'm crazy.
No, I can't.
So I knew that. So I'm not going to hand them my whole.
It's just insanity.
I'm just not going to do it. So, but because I thought we would have an opportunity to address things in the application that were deficient.
Wow.
But we never heard from them. And nobody really, even up until now, has ever asked me a question. For real. No one said, hey, we didn't see your curriculum plan. I have them. We didn't see your hiring guide. We have them. You didn't ask me for them. The application doesn't say for me to give those things to you. But if that's what you wanted, all you had to do was ask.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, even in that, the board, up until right now, no board member has ever had a conversation with me about this or asked me a question. Even that night when I supplied them.
Never even informed you of that?
No. So I thought that we were walking in to answer questions from the board. I didn't know that I was going to hear presentations from the district until February 5th around 2:00. I got an email because I had asked a question. I got a reply back and I said, hey, can I have tonight's agenda? And they said, well, it's on the website, but I put it on here for you. And I looked at it and I said, presentations? I said, well, what are the presentations? Because I think I'm coming here to answer questions.
Right.
So when I walked in, and I think if you go back and watch that meeting, when the first presenter was talking, I had to stop them and say, hold on, can I just clarify what we're doing?
Right.
Like, if we're going to go through my application, which again, not throwing shots, but just from sitting on the other side of the table, I would have rather my administration reach out to that person and save my district thousands of dollars in hearing money, thousands of dollars with 3 high-priced lawyers and all of your administration sitting around the table when you could have called me and said, hey, Justin, there's some things that are missing in the application.
Just get it right.
Yeah. Can you provide them or not? If you can't provide them, you might want to think about not proceeding or withdrawing.
Yes.
That's all you had to do. This is community. You know me. I know y'all. I have your phone number in my phone.
Right.
I went back and looked at some of the text messages between me and some of the people that are sitting up here. It's not like you don't know me.
Just text me.
But it seemed like there was something to prove. I feel like there was just something to prove. Like, we're just going to gun, not just because it's me. I think it's because of what I'm trying to do. Okay.
Before you go into that,
Mhm.
What do you mean it's not you? Where were they taking offense at?
I think even the thought that who was anybody to come challenge us?
Gotcha.
Who was anybody to come in here and say they could do something different? They just had something to prove, and that's what they did. They went toe to toe. They went line by line. I think at one point the superintendent said to me, I have a responsibility to view your application in the eyes of the law. And if you don't like it, welcome to education. And I'm like, man, this guy's yelling at me. Now, I'm from Walnut Street and we own Walnut Street. Like, why are you yelling at me, sir? You know what I'm saying? Now you're trying to get me out of character, but I'm not gonna go there. Like,
Kept it together.
oh yeah, I mean, we're gonna be cool. But at the same time, we didn't have to go about it like this.
Yes, sir.
But here's the other side. So when did I know it was time to get out? I kind of looked at everything. I talked to my wife. I talked to our attorneys. And if I were to appeal, if I were to appeal, the appeal process would take about 8 or 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
But if I were to just submit another application, it's in the same amount of time. So we wanted to take a step back, review everything. Mm-hmm. Let's review our name. Let's review our location. Let's review our curriculum. Let's review all the things that they said. Right. And let's come back to the table if we feel as though it's appropriate. That's what we want to do. That's what we want to do.
Okay. And I think that's totally fair. I think that's totally fair. I was thinking, I'm not gonna lie to you, Justin. I know you a little bit personally, and I was really actually sitting back thinking about that because I already know, especially the degree of passion that you have about it. Mm-hmm. Right? And I was like, man, I have passion, right? So when I seen, because I seen you had posted the letter,
right?
The letter saying that you're gonna chill, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was just I was looking at it, I was reading it. As I was reading, I said, I knew this must have been hard. I said it must have been hard because you're not wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I know that had to be I know that had to stretch you.
Yeah. Well, personality wise, I don't like to lose.
Come on.
Right. I don't like losing. Yeah. But to be honest with you, Rahsul, how I felt was, even though the application went one way, this happened the other, I really felt like I let the kids down, man.
No, I don't feel like that.
But that's like my passion in this is to give them another chance, another opportunity. Yep. And I just couldn't imagine, like, yo, even for the hope of parents that say, man, we're struggling with this, or we don't want to put our kids here, we want to keep them in your system, or we need another system. Those are the people that I felt like I let down.
I got it.
With that though, we're gonna take a look at everything again. We're gonna retool. I don't feel as though I lost. And even in that, even if we decide, hey, maybe this is not the vein or the venue, if I can get a parent to get involved, if I can get somebody to say, you know what, I need to get on this board. I need to run for school board. I need to get on this board. I need to get on borough council. I need to attend a meeting to see what's going on here. Man, I feel like we won.
Okay. Well, that leads us into the third question.
Okay.
I like that. Okay. Uh-huh. I like that. Mm-hmm. I like that. I hope y'all heard what he just said on that last part. Yeah. Far as what we want to define as support and things of that nature when it comes to issues like this that we have to fight inside our community for the sake of our future, which are our kids, right? Third question. Even though the charter school didn't move forward, the issues that aim to address educational gaps that you already spoke on, equity, opportunity, are still very real.
Yeah.
What's next for you in pursuing those goals, and how do you see the community continuing that work in new ways?
So
I do want you to jump on I want you going a little heavier on what you just said about the community, and because I'm saying, and please tell me if you need me to repeat the question.
Yeah, okay.
But the reason why I say that is because, honestly, Justin, and I'm new to this, right? Okay. But what I picked up with our community, right? The disenfranchised community, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What I picked up is, I don't think we understand how easy it is. I don't think we think that we're able to be in those positions.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I don't want to say this wrong.
Yeah. No,
like if it make, you know what I mean? Like, I'll give you an example of one thing real quick, and I'm gonna let you go.
Mhm.
I just recently found out through shout out to Deb Spence.
Yeah, she's on here,
I
but
did.
if you look on this side,
That's Deb.
they're
Go.
commenting. Yeah.
Okay, hey Deb.
Mhm.
So Deb Spence actually hit me to that the people actually have the power to change the curriculum.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Meaning that, but obviously it can't be 2 or 3 parents. You got to
Right.
go up there with
Right.
some numbers.
Right.
But I didn't know that we actually have the power to say, go up to a school board meeting, request to see the curriculum,
Right.
and say if we're not satisfied with that curriculum, we the people actually have the power to come up with a curriculum and demand that it be taught
Yeah.
in the school.
So, in doing that, you have to use your elected officials, right?
Okay.
So, and that's why I said, this board, you are not the jury, you're the judge.
Right.
You have to make a decision.
Right.
Now, personally, I feel as though, and I hate to say this, but like, listen, right now in town, listen, there's a lot of diversity. We have a female African American woman that's in charge of borough council,
Yeah.
and under over the school board. And so, listen, as far as positioning, we're positioned, right? But the worst thing that can happen is what somebody told me when I became president of the school board, and I had a rough group of people, a rough group that had just got elected onto the board. And somehow they elected me as the president. And I was a lot younger than most of these people at the time, too. And one person that worked for the district, he had been there for years and years. He sat me down. He said, Justin, don't worry. He said, typically, the best thing you can do when you got people that are giving you a hard time is get them on the board. He said, and then once they're on the board, give them a position. Let them be in charge of such and such committee. He said, and then all that stuff that was going on during the election, he said it'll all die down and you won't hear from it no more. Think about that. All the work and all that loud stuff you did to get up here, when you got here, you fell in line.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden you became a jurist, not a judge. No, I'm up here to say something.
Yeah, I'm up here on the behalf of the voice. There we go.
And we live in just this culture that is so afraid to say something because you're afraid to say the wrong thing. Say it. Go up there. And what's it going? What are you going to lose? What, your pride, your ego? Well, hey, listen. For me personally, this ain't about my pride and my ego. But if I can help a kid, if you can run over top of me, but we help a kid, no, listen. That's what it's going to be. But the worst thing that can happen is we get in these positions, and all of a sudden we just fall in line.
Coward.
Man, you can't do it, man.
Can't do it.
I feel like, them attorneys sitting at that table, they work for you.
Yeah.
The superintendent, he works for you.
Yeah.
The borough council, the township, whatever, supervisor, manager, they work for you. And even though you don't unilaterally have power, you do have power. And you can't be afraid to speak up when things are wrong.
That's it.
And you say, oh, I might say the wrong thing. Say the wrong thing. I'd rather say the wrong thing than say nothing.
Come on now.
And meanwhile,
because correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you how I feel, what I see, because a lot of people, like, if we go around, and again, I'm with you. No. I'm not here to beat up on anybody.
Right.
But if we go around and we ask the average parent, right?
Right.
What do you feel about the school?
Right.
Yeah. They only can tell you what they feel and what they see.
Yeah.
And for those voices not to be respected, and to a degree when they're not respected, it kind of makes people want to go be like this. Well, they ain't going to listen to what I'm saying anyway, so let me hush.
So to that point, now I'm not speaking. My mom, school board member.
Right.
My mom, 2-time mayor, African American female, Republican. So I don't even want to get into that, but how she got over there.
Yeah.
But they supported her. So it's hard though when you get in a seat and the people that supported you don't look like you, but they're the people that need you the most.
Yeah.
It gets hard. Now, even in that though, my mom, me, people like me, and there's a lot of people out there, we don't sell out.
Right.
I don't forget where I came from
100%.
just because where I'm sitting.
100%.
But in that though, I think Malcolm said it like this: we're not outnumbered, we're out organized.
Here we go.
That borough council president, that school board president needs this community behind them. And even if she says something crazy, that's our person.
Yeah.
And you're not going to disrespect her.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. We can't afford not to be there.
Okay.
We can't afford not to be at the table.
Okay.
And that's how you get a 5-year contract with no merit, like
Got it.
260, because nobody's watching. Nobody's paying attention. There wasn't nobody in that room that night. I was online. Several people were online, right? But the person that got up to talk was a union member, and her speech was about me. Right? Now, I just couldn't imagine, and I'm not trying to start no trouble. I just couldn't imagine being a union member, and when your contract comes up, all of a sudden we ain't got no money. But tonight
we got some money.
We got some money. Matter of fact, we're gonna borrow money to make sure you get paid.
To make sure you straight.
Come on, man, something's wrong here. We can't sit back. And see, that's why people want people like me to shut up. Stay in my lane. Just preach. I am preaching.
Yeah.
This is preaching.
Yeah.
This is it. The message is, listen, we gotta wake up
100%
and get involved. We're not outnumbered, we're just out organized, and we need people to come together. And I have to say this as well, because this is something I ran into a lot as well. You can't just pledge allegiance to being a Democrat or being a Republican or being an independent or one side. You gotta pledge allegiance to what's right. That's not going to get you, that might not get you real far, but on a local level, it will get us where we need to go if we have enough people to just stand up and say, you know what, it ain't my preference, but it's the right thing to do. Do what is right, especially by our kids. Our kids deserve better. Our kids deserve more. Our kids deserve advocacy. And even in a public school, they still deserve to be treated with dignity and respect and not treated like their socioeconomic status. You can't treat me like I'm poor just because I'm poor. Treat me like I'm somebody. Treat me like I deserve an education that's worthy of respect and honor. And these families deserve it as well. And that's why I stood up to do what I was doing.
This is that's it. But thank you. But hold on, I gotta ask. I need you to end with this, right? I need you to end with this. And just from hearing you speak, this is where this question is coming from. Did you happen to hear the parents in our community referred to as urban parents?
I did.
What's your view? How you feel about that?
I didn't like the comment. Again, I would like to go back and get all the context. Okay. Because if there was a point trying to be made, make your point. But I don't agree with that point either, that urban parents don't care. Mm-hmm. I don't agree with that.
Right.
They do care.
Right.
And if they don't care, let's just say they don't.
Yeah.
You're paid enough to care. You're paid enough to make a difference. We pay you to make sure when they come here, think about it. Yo, when they come here, breakfast included, lunch included, take a meal home included. When they come here, we're paying taxpayer money to make sure that when they come here, the support that they might not have at home, it might be so transformative here that somebody might say, you know what, I can be somebody despite of my situation and circumstances because of this environment.
And I'm gonna tell you what's so crazy. I was reading over an article in the Mercury about the hearing.
Yeah.
And one of the teachers that made a statement, they said something about how many kids got to be inside of a charter school class or whatever, how it's going to be no different than a public school.
Right.
And I said, it's crazy what you just said. Feeding, right? I think that a lot of things that people miss when it comes to a charter school setting or, even like the setting you have now, right? Mm-hmm. There are more people on deck and it's more care.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's not to negate the public schools, but it's more care.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, you're dealing with a lot of kids that you know. You probably have more adults on deck that, are, dealing with.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. I can tell you this as well. My inbox is full. It's funny. One of the things that came up, how are you going to staff it? Where are you going to find people? My inbox is full of people who said, if you get approved, we would come to love
I'm
to come work
coming,
with
man.
you.
I'm coming. That's right.
Full.
Yeah.
One thing that the culture and the climate that you create is so important though. And don't think that our kids don't feel it. I said that to say because, most of the people that came out in opposition were teachers.
I've seen that.
Teachers that are part of the teachers union that have a vested interest in the financial stake of the district.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong. I'm going to take what you're saying as a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Right? Especially when I look around the table, none of y'all kids go to this school. You don't send them here. I bet you don't even bring your kids here on bring your child to work day. I bet you don't. You know why? And I know why. One of the things, though, one of the things that is important to me, though, to get out here is this climate and this culture. And we as a community have to change it. We have to change this. We have to change it at the board level. We got to change it in the community. Do you know how many people said to me, I want to support you, but I can't because I work here or my family member works here or somebody close to me is vested somewhere, like, in some capacity.
I hear you.
It should never be that somebody is afraid to voice their opinion or support because they're afraid of retaliation and retribution from a school.
Fear? I think fear sets in a lot of stuff that goes on around here.
Yeah.
It's like a unspoken threat. Like
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because of that, I understand where people are. Everybody's not. I'm in a position. I personally am not afraid. So I'm not afraid of that.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of, when they come out here and they speak or whatever. That doesn't intimidate me. I'm not
100%.
intimidated by that. But what I can say, that retaliation and that culture, do you think our kids don't feel that? Do you think that they don't feel that? You don't think that they don't feel sometimes subservient to the culture? And I hate that.
I hate it.
I hate that. And no, our kids deserve to be here. They need to be here. And I do want to say this. If you're a teacher that goes out here every day, does your job, puts in 100, loves our kids for real and their families and parents, my hat's off to you. We need you. But something, we got to do something different. And that's why I put my neck out to do what I did.
That's why we got to keep fighting, man. And listen, man, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Is there anything else you got to tell the people, man?
Hey, man, at the end of the day, the only thing I would love to say is, I love my community. I love Pottstown. We're doing what we feel is best for our community in town. Get involved. Get involved. You don't know how to get involved, reach out. Ask. We'll tell you. I'll tell you. I don't mind having a conversation. Them IEP meetings. If you don't understand what's going on, don't just keep letting them throw stuff at you and you just swinging and missing. Get somebody that understands it at the table with you in them IEP meetings. I attend IEP meetings with members of our church.
I didn't know that.
I'll sit in an IEP meeting and listen and hear what's going on for the kids.
Even if they don't know, you let them.
I know, and I'll have a conversation with mom or dad, and I'll say, hey, listen, next time you want to say this. Or in that meeting, I might say, hold on. Let's not change nothing in the IEP. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
My own kids have IEPs. I got to go in there and I got to fight for them sometimes. Sometimes you got to go in and you got to say something. You got to speak up. Sometimes I needed somebody to advocate for me. And if you need that, reach out. Hold the people accountable. That's what we need. Yeah. Appreciate you, man.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing, man. Yo, Unchained, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man. Pastor Justin Valentine, man. Y'all make sure y'all get out here to Kingdom Life Church, man. You know what I mean? Get with the people that support you, man. Get with the people that's fighting for you, man. Get with the people that's tying up their boots and fighting for this community. You know what I mean? You know, Native. I love Pottstown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Love Pottstown.
That's right.
Willing to fight for Pottstown. For these kids, man.
Yeah.
Unchained. Appreciate you. That was good. That was good. That was good, Jeff.
Yeah.
That was good. That was good.
There's if you look over here,
No, I seen it.
you can see the comments.
Yeah, no, and I'm gonna go. We're going to definitely go